I don't want to believe it because it's just hard for me to believe that an NBA player will say, and I guess the way for context, the NBA playoff starts before the EuroLeague playoffs. So basically, I guess KD was already, I guess they were down probably 2-0, 3-0, something of that nature. But I don't want to believe that he said that. But if he did say that, Skip, it's a horrible look. And we do know KD, whatever way you want to say about KD, how great he is, and he's great, KD likes the easiest path of resistance. And I never wanted to hear, even though you're down, hey, if we can just win one game, because we've seen teams, I mean, look, it's happened before, and not in the, especially in the first round, a lot of teams have come back from 3-1, Skip, to, things of that nature. KD is plenty as a good enough player, along with Kyrie, to dig themselves out of this situation. But I don't think that's the right attitude to have. You know what, Skip? It's just hard for me to believe that a player of KD's caliber, or any athlete for that situation, would say, we're not going to win. It's just hard for me to believe. And even if he did say that, damn, Mike, why would you put your boy out there like that? That's your boy.
Yep.
Why would you want to put him in a negative light? I just feel that things that are, said in private discussions should remain private. Everything is not meant for public consumption. I don't care how, in knowing that that's Kevin Durant and knowing that the buzz, the attention that it's going to generate. But I'm just a firm believer that a lot of things are not for public consumption. Although, yeah, it's going to be a hot take or it's going to generate a buzz. I just don't operate like that. But it's a bad look, Skip. It is a very bad look if Kevin Durant said this. And the mere fact that even if he did that, it got attached to you.
Okay. I have no real idea whether he said this or not.
Right.
I do agree on Mike James' account. You can't do this.
Right.
That might be a worse look,
yeah.
Actually. You outed your friend. This is obviously just personal between you two guys' conversation, and you went public with it. And yet, I believe that Mike's motivation was to try to defend Kevin in a weird way, because he's basically saying that Kevin was telling him, we're a train wreck. We're going nowhere. And the proof of that is the shock that Kevin asked out, that he wants to be gone.
Right.
From not only the Nets, but from Kyrie.
Right.
So if you push me into a corner, do I believe that Kevin said it? I do. Because I think he and Kyrie had melted down completely. They had gone, I told you, Splitsville. He was sick and tired of the way Kyrie was operating.
Okay.
That Kyrie wouldn't get the vaccination. He was destroying the team. Kevin was one who voted to send him home early on, and then they crawled back to him and brought him back in because they were desperate. And I think a whole lot was going on behind the scenes that made Kevin believe we got no shot against the Celtics because they're too good on defense and we're too fractured. And Ben Simmons, for whatever reason, just ended up being back surgery, couldn't go.
Right.
So you're down James Harden and not replaced by Ben Simmons.
Right.
So you're down one of your big three.
Yeah.
And he's just saying, Kyrie and I are no longer on the same page. So what chance do we have against the best defensive team in basketball? And to this point, I told you, I couldn't recognize him. He looked half-hearted at best. It looked like he stepped on the court with a give-up attitude. And I'm not saying he quit. I'm just saying it looked like he just walked out on the floor like, we don't have a chance against these guys.
Why not say, look, we up against it. This is a very good team, and we're all over the place. But, hey, we're going to fight. We're going to see what happens. Why not frame it in that way? So that way you cover your, like it's almost like he gave up, like he quit.
Okay.
I mean, you saying that, you don't believe he did, but I'm saying that's
almost like he gave up before he stepped on the floor.
Right,
it's not like they made him quit on the floor.
Right.
He just didn't seem like his heart was in it at all.
Right.
I couldn't recognize him. He just looked like, I'm overwhelmed out here. I'm overmatched.
Right.
And as soon as they start sending 2 and 3 guys at him, he's turning the ball over. He's taking half-hearted shots. He's taking bad shots. He's getting his shot blocked.
Yeah.
It looked like he didn't want to be out there in the first place.
Right.
Is that the same as quitting? Quitting is when you think you're going to win and you get your tail kicked, and all of a sudden in the fourth quarter you say, I give up.
Right.
They're just too good. And it looked like Kevin had given up before he set foot on court. Like, there was a lot going on behind the scenes. And I'm not defending him on this because I've called him the thinnest skinned superstar I have ever closely observed.
Right.
And he is.
Yes.
And I don't love that about him. I love his ability. I still think he's the best player on the planet because he's the most gifted player on the planet. And I still think he can play at an extremely high level. But the point is, he has his psychological flaws. And this was a huge one because he followed Kyrie to Brooklyn. And then he feels like Kyrie gave up on the team, you know, just quit on the whole the whole show and left him hanging.
Well, Skip, it's hard for me to believe that Kevin Durant didn't know that basketball wasn't as important to Kyrie as it was to him.
Okay.
I mean, that's your boy. I know.
You should know that.
Yeah, you should.
I don't know if Kyrie's priorities changed this past year. All of a sudden, he goes somewhere else in his head.
Right.
I don't know if it was because of the pandemic.
Right.
I don't know. But Kyrie repeatedly made it clear, basketball's not that big a deal to me. I got more important things to do in my life.
And all Kevin talks about is basketball. All he wants to do is play basketball. He doesn't even want the leadership aspect of it. No. He don't want any part other than lacing up them gym shoes and getting on the court and hooping.
And working at it. I believe he works
he works at his craft. Yeah. You don't get to be that good without working.
Okay. So all of a sudden, the bolt out of the blue was he's demanding a trade.
Right.
Well, wouldn't this set the scene for it?
Yeah, and so Skip, I mean, and that's what's so amazing is that it came out of the blue. We didn't hear any rumblings because maybe Kevin Durant might want out or just. It was just like they lose and then a couple of weeks, like a month later, like Kevin Durant would request a trade. I'm like, where did this come from?
Well, it sounds like it was already a done deal before the Boston series even started.
Yes, there was a lot of things that was going on behind the scenes that Kevin Durant became frustrated with. And it's like, you know what? It's better for me to get on up out of this situation.
Okay. Did it look bad? Yeah, it looks terrible.
It looks awful.
And the whole give-up attitude, is it right? Would a player with higher superstar intangibles have gone out and just fought the battle solo and said, I'm going to go down, I'm going to fall on my own sword. If you're not going to be out here, I'm going to be out here.
Right.
But he didn't do that. He's not built that way. Kevin has extremely high basketball IQ, and he looked at the situation and said, we don't have a chance. No matter how well I play, we're not going to be able to beat that team with that defense.
Skip, they had them beat in game one.
Well, they did. It went to the wire.
I mean, they lost on the last second shot. KD lost Jason Tatum.
He did.
And then Kyrie probably should have just fouled Jason Tatum and made him make both free throws in order to win.
Yeah. See Klay Thompson on George Hill.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'd have took his shoulder clean off.
Okay, you got to. Okay, and Kyrie just waved at him.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the end of that deal. Right? So, again, does it tarnish Kevin's reputation? Yeah, it does. Yeah. But there's probably some, if not a whole lot of truth to what Mike James, unfortunately, made public.
Yeah, you just look. He was very frustrated by how the season played out, how the season went along. And, he's not very happy. I understand some of his frustrations, but I don't know if I'm going to say he knew, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I'm saying that, Skip, about my boy, because I already know how that's going to make him look.
So when I proposed that the Brooklyn Nets hold Kevin's feet to the fire and enforce the 4 years left on his contract, his brother, I believe, tweeted at me, hell no and hell with you. Well, it's probably because of this.
Right.
Like the bridge is burned to the ground between Kevin and Kyrie. So what are the odds that Joe Tsai and Sean Marks and Steve Nash can slowly but surely rebuild the bridge between Kevin and Kyrie for next year with Ben Simmons, you would hope, back? Because that's what it comes down to. Because if you can get them somehow back on the same page, and one thing about Kevin, you used the word mercurial.
Right.
He goes way up and way down, and way up and way down. Can you get him on the way back up and get Kyrie on the way back up?
Right.
And say, you guys realize we got Ben coming back. We added a couple of nice pieces in Warren and Royce O'Neal. And we're trying to get a little bit better. We'll have Joe Harris back for what that's worth. We'll have shooters, and and we'll be the favorite going
Right.
into next year. We'll be the odds-on Las Vegas betting favorite
Right.
to win it all if you guys will just make peace.
I do believe that the other 29 owners are hoping Josiah holds pat because they want to get a hold on this. This is all demanding a trade with 2 years left or a year left on your contract or 4 years, in this case, 4 years. I think this was probably the final straw, Skip.
It was.
You could
The final
understand in
straw.
1 year, I'm going to lose the guy. I'm going to lose the guy. So let me get
Agreed.
something for him. But 4 years?
4 years?
I think they'll say, Joe, whatever you do, we understand you got to do what's in the best interest, but for the best interest of the league. A lot of times, Skip, owners do things what's in the best interest, not necessarily for their team, but for the league.
Agreed.
And I think they think the best thing for this league is for him to hold pat and not trade. Maybe trade Kevin Durant next year, but I can't do it right now. I can't give in because we've given too much ground, and the players are just they're running over us right now.
And ironically, the single best thing for LeBron James is for Kevin Durant to hold firm with his trade demand and force his way out of Brooklyn, because I don't think they want to keep Kyrie alone.
Right. No,
And then all of a sudden, Kyrie really becomes available, if not expendable.
Yeah, you don't want Kyrie the leader of your locker room.
Okay.
Nobody wants that because he had a chance to be the leader in Boston. How did that work? It worked much better once he was injured and once he left.
So your best chance of acquiring Kyrie Irving, and I still don't know how you would pull this off, but at least you would have a chance if Kevin makes it so painfully clear to Josiah that he's not going to play next year. You'd have to make him believe you're going to hold out next year.
Well, you don't get paid.
Okay, well, there you go.
And then, I'm going to start finding you. I'm going to have to chat. I don't believe Kevin Durant walking away from $48 million. Kevin Durant is building a little mini empire.
He is.
He has major investments, probably invested over 50 to 100 companies, and he wants to expand on that empire. And you need money to do that. So I don't believe Kevin Durant. KD doesn't strike me as a guy, Skip, that's going to miss. He loves the game too much. And a lot of times, Skip, that's what the owners are counting on. Like you said, Jeannie, about LeBron. Well, LeBron loves being in there. He loves playing back. He ain't going to do it.
No, agreed.
So
that's what Josiah is thinking right now. There's no way he doesn't want to play because he's too deep into his career.
Right.
If he were 25 years old, maybe he'd say, okay, hell with you.
Right.
I'm not going to play next year.
But I think the thing is, the difference is when he was 25, is that Kevin Durant let a lot of things go. I think Kevin Durant probably wanted to leave OKC a lot sooner.
I agree.
But he stayed. And I think now at this age, he's like, hell with that. I get upset with something, I'm gone. I'm bouncing.
Correct. That's what
he said. Life too short to be miserable in a situation. Whatever that situation is.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.